As the name of the chapter is Transcendental Knowledge, we'll be having a regular discussion on on the need of practicing the spiritual knowledge in today's society. Practicing the knowledge, understanding the knowledge, and then guiding others to follow that path of knowledge. So one is to know, another is to apply, and third is to assist other in applying that knowledge. So these are three variations that we have to keep in mind when we talk about this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So as I mentioned, the name of the chapter is Transcendental Knowledge. Today we are going to cover Shloka 4.35 onwards, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41 and 42. So it should be Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjalashalaakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Vanchakalptarubhasya Kripa Sindhudayavicha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavbhyo Namo Namah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. I hope I am audible to everyone. If there is any challenge in the voice, then please let me know. Then accordingly, I can try to increase the voice. Okay, so if you have Bhagavad Gita, you may please open Shloka 4.35 and we are starting it from there today. So first we'll talk about the four shlokas, 35, 36, 37 and 38. And then we'll jump into the important shloka 39 and 40. These are the two main shlokas that we'll be covering. In this talk of today, the main focus would be on 39 and 40. So role of knowledge. How does this knowledge help us? This transcendental knowledge that we are talking about. So before we begin our discussion, let me tell you what this knowledge is. So there could be so many different dimensions of knowledge. One of the main dimension of knowledge is to understand a very basic fact that we are part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And once we become part and parcel of Supreme Personality of Godhead, so one is the individual consciousness that exists within us, the living entity, and then there is a super consciousness. Super consciousness means God. So individual consciousness cannot work independently. Considering the fact that individual consciousness is a part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that individual consciousness has to work in collaboration with that Supreme Consciousness. So dovetailing our consciousness with the Supreme Consciousness and understanding the science of how to dovetail our consciousness with the Supreme Consciousness is transcendental knowledge. Transcendental knowledge also means that to understand a very basic fact that we are not matter, we are something beyond matter. And that's where the spiritual life begins. And that's where the transcendental knowledge also begins, that we are not the body, we are spirit, soul. So how does this knowledge helps? So knowledge first is that in Shloka 35, the theme is that we have to understand that we cannot work independently. We have an existence in relationship with God. As soon as we start working independently and we believe in the ideology that we have an existence independently from Krishna, and then the problem arises. We forget Krishna, then Maya enters into our life. Maya means something that does not exist, but we consider that as a reality. And you can say it as illusion also. So as soon as Maya enters, then we forget the reality. And we forget that we have a relationship with Krishna. And part and parcel of Krishna, we all are part and parcel of Krishna. We forget this very basic fact of life that we are part and parcel of Krishna. But once we come in contact with this transcendental knowledge, we understand that we are part and parcel of Krishna. Every living entity that exists within this world is a part and parcel of Krishna. And then accordingly, we deal with all the individual living entities on this planet. This is how we exchange the relationship with everyone. And that's where this concept of Vasudeva Kutumba came into the picture, because ultimately we all have one universal father, and then we can work on the level of brotherhood and sisterhood relationship with everyone within this world, provided we keep God as a center of life. If we do not keep God as the center of life, then we cannot work on this principle of Vasudeva Kutumbakam. So God has to be there. So this is a theme around Shloka 35. Now, when we go to Shloka 36, in Shloka 36, it is mentioned as even if you are considered as the most sinful of all sinners, still, if you are on this boat of transcendental knowledge, this knowledge will save you from the most dangerous situation of life. Okay, so now when we talk about this material world, this material world has two different set of characteristics that we often hear or we often experience in our day-to-day life. One is that this material world is a ocean of nescience. That means here it's an ocean full of ignorance. People are not having knowledge about God. People are not conscious of God, and they just want to work independently, and they do not want to understand their relationship with God. So this is ocean of nescience. And the second is, it's like a blazing forest. Everything is burning here. Everything is burning here with the miseries, with the threefold miseries. People are frustrated, people are in tension, anxiety, and depression. Often people say that, okay, we are trying to overcome this tension, anxiety, and depression, but all those things do not really work for long. It may work for some time, but it does not really work for long. So ultimately, the nature of this material world is, it is like a blazing forest. There is a fire everywhere. People are not happy because this material world is designed like this. We are trying to enjoy this material world, but the reality is this material world is not really meant for the true enjoyment. Then how we can be saved? So it says that if we are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, then that knowledge will help us to overcome these miseries, to overcome this ignorance, to overcome this blazing forest fire. So the knowledge has to be there. If we have a strong foundation of knowledge, then in spite of these difficulties, we will be easily able to overcome these perplexities of this material world. So we have to work on how we can overcome this miseries of this material world with the help of with the help of this spiritual knowledge that we are talking about. Okay, so now we are moving to shloka 37. Theme of Shloka 37 again talks about how this knowledge helps and can help all of us in getting rid of the reactions, the karmic reactions. So here the word that they have used, Sarva Karmani Bhasmasat. Sarva Karmani means all types of karma. Bhasmasat. Bhasmasat means bhasm kar deta hai. So Sarva Karmani, all types of karmas. When we talk about all types of karmas, it includes good karma and it also includes bad karma. So both categories of karmas have been included in it, good karmas as well as bad karmas. And reactions are there. for both. Good karma, if you do some pious activities, then you have to come again to enjoy the reactions of those good karmas. If you do some bad karmas, then also you have to come again to suffer the reactions of those bad karmas. And now what does this transcendental knowledge do? This this blaze of fire of knowledge within us, if we have that igniting spark that yes, we want to attain God, and to attain God we want to attain and understand this pure transcendental science of our loving relationship with God, then Krishna helps all of us. Then Krishna gives us the opportunity. Krishna gives us a platform so that we can easily overcome the reactions of good karmas and the bad karmas both. People often say, my destiny is not good and somehow I am suffering too much in this material world. Or even if I desire to do something good to others, still I suffer. So the answer is that you have to get rid of this good karma, bad karma cycle. You have to ultimately get rid of it. And to get rid of it, you have to take shelter of this pure knowledge that we are talking about. And that's what Krishna is telling to Arjuna, that ultimately do not get confused with what good action you have to perform, what bad action you have to perform. Ultimately focus on what Krishna expects you to perform in life. That is the most important thing. Good or bad becomes irrelevant when you follow the orders of Krishna. And Krishna order can be also at times good from a social standard, and the same order cannot may be considered as not good from a social standard. But ultimately, we have to remember a fact that social standard is one thing, God, following the orders of God is another thing. Yes, it is true that God will not give you any order which may not be suitable for you considering your social situations, but you don't have to bother about it. It is something to be taken care by Krishna himself. He has to decide what he has to do, what is good for us. He will decide that for us rather than we being conscious about it. So Sarva Karmani Bhasmasat. Now we are moving to Shloka 38. In Shloka 38, it starts with Nahi Jnanena Sadrisham Pavitra Miha Vidyate. That means that this knowledge that we are talking about, or the knowledge being mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, it is most pure of all transcendental knowledge. Very important. It is the most pure knowledge, and whenever you come in the contact of anything either most abominable or anything most pure, what would be the outcome? The outcome would be, if you come in contact with the most purest thing, you will also become pure. If you come in contact with most abominable thing, you will also become abominable. So you have to choose in what kind of what do you really want in your life. Do you want to become pure or you want to become contaminated? That decision has to be taken by us, what we really want in our life. So this is the crux of Shloka 38, that it helps us to become pure because this is the most purest knowledge. Now we'll be coming to Shloka 39, and this is an important shlok. Let us quickly recite this shloka together. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatpara saitendriya jnanam labdhava param shantim chiradhine gacchati. Okay, so here it is starting with Shraddhavan. So what is the qualification to get spiritual knowledge? Is faith. So faith is the beginning. Without faith, we cannot make progress in any sphere of life. So it could be either our material life or it could be even our spiritual life. Everywhere, faith is a first and foremost prerequisite. Without faith, nothing will really move on. So first is the faith. Prabhupada gives an example in this regard that if we go to a barber and then barber will shave us and he will put razor on our this okay maybe this side, and we have a reasonable faith that he will not cut our throat, and because of that faith we go and get shaved from the barber. Otherwise nobody will have that faith. Likewise, we do a lot of things. If we step out of our house, we have a reasonable faith that we'll not get an accident. Or if we are traveling to some other country, we have a reasonable faith that yes, we'll be able to reach to the destination safely. We work on that principle of reasonable faith. So faith is the foundation, and faith is the foundation of the spiritual life also. Faith is the foundation of material life also, and faith is the foundation of spiritual life also. So faith is the first step, and then what happens next? So once we have faith, through faith we learn to follow the instructions of the authority with full faith. So we start learning things by following a authority because we have a faith in authority. Likewise, likewise we have this Bhagavad Gita. We have faith in Bhagavad Gita that it is a message of Lord Krishna. If we will apply it in our life, we will be able to live a happy, peaceful, and a good life ahead. And then when we have faith, when we get instructions, then we basically learn to control our senses. We have to have some control. Here the word is sayatendriya. We have to control. We cannot just give our senses independent freedom to do anything and everything. And then what is the ultimate outcome? The ultimate outcome is that Param Shantim Achirena Adhigachati. So here Krishna is telling that if you have faith in the spiritual master, or if you have faith in the instructions of this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, if you apply that knowledge and control your senses, then you can have a peaceful life. And that's what the aim of life of all of us is, that we all want to live a peaceful life. Then let us follow things with faith. Nothing turns overnight, but if we have faith, with the passage of time, things will turn into reality. And then what will happen? Our heart will become purified. Again, Prabhupada gives an interesting example to support this. Prabhupada mentions that just like there is a lion in the jungle, and when that lion is there, and if a lion makes a roaring sound, and as soon as the lion makes a roaring sound, all the animals of the jungle runs away. So likewise, if we have faith in the chanting of the holy names of the Lord, by chanting of the holy names of the Lord, the outcome would be that all the impurities of our heart will go away. So the chanting of the holy name is like a roaring sound of a lion, and all the impurities are like all the animals that are there in the jungle, and the same way we all have impurities. So all that impurities will go away with the passage of time, and that's what we need to do ultimately. Sorry. Now coming to Shloka 4.40, very important shlok. Here it is said that, okay, fine, we sanshaya atma vinashyati. So initially when we begin Krishna consciousness journey, initially we may have some doubt. Initial doubts are okay. We may not understand few things. Devotees help us to understand, but it may happen that we may not understand everything in the beginning. It's fine. Eventually we'll be able to understand things. But yes, we need to have a firm faith that yes, with the passage of time, I will be able to understand this science of Krishna consciousness also. And then you will be able to you will be able to visualize the power of it, the reality of it, how it can bring a positive change in your life. Today, you may not be in a position to foresee that change, but if you have a faith, you may have doubt, but that doubt should not go throughout. You have to work on yourself so that eventually, with the passage of time, you get rid of that doubt. Because doubt is a sanshaya atma vinashyati. We will simply distract us. So we have to overcome the doubt. How we have to overcome that doubt? With the weapon of knowledge. We all need to overcome this doubt with the weapon of knowledge. And then knowledge will help us to do what? Knowledge, through knowledge, will associate with devotees. Then devotees will help us because we have faith. Faith leads to association. Association means devotees will help you in your spiritual journey. So one is the devotees are helping you. Another is that as you grow and you start applying that knowledge that you gain, in association of devotees, then Krishna also starts helping you from within. He starts helping you from his, we all know that Krishna is within our heart. Krishna starts helping us within the heart. So one is the devotees are helping, another is the Krishna is helping. In fact, devotees are also helping because Krishna is inspiring them to help. So it goes both ways. There also devotees are helping because Krishna inspires them to help other devotees. Likewise, Krishna, he personally also helps by guiding us from within our heart, provided we apply things. That is a requirement that we have to apply things. So, here important one another thing mentioned in the shloka: Nayam loko asti na paro na sukham sanshaya atma. So, for the doubting soul, neither their happiness when they are leaving this present body, they don't have that happiness within this present body because they always keep on doubting things. They do not get an opportunity to understand things because they do not want to understand things. So for them, there is no happiness even at present. You must have seen people, even in their general life, they keep on doubting, they don't understand things, and they're so much confused within themselves what they really want to do. And those people are not really happy in their life. But devotees who are clear, who do not have doubt on this philosophy, they are living a very happy and peaceful life, and not just this life but even life after life we live happily because we do not have doubt. But those who have doubt, they cannot live happy now. Then if they cannot live happy now, how can they live happy after this life? So that's what Krishna is telling to Arjuna, that the scope of happiness is not there even in the present life and in the next life. In the both life, the scope of happiness does not exist for the doubting soul. So, let's not doubt in the message of Krishna. Apply that message, and then if we do not understand things, or if we really do not get to know anything with the passage of time, then we may doubt. But we have to start with something. If we do not start with something, then we suffer. Now we will move to next shloka 4.42, and that's the last shloka of the day. Okay. Yeah, so we have a question. I'll take up that question in the end. Before that, I just want to finish this chapter for the day. Thank you for raising this question. So the last shloka of the day that we'll discuss now. We have another 5 minutes to go. Therefore, the doubts which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed by the weapon of knowledge, armed with yoga. Oh, Bharata. Bharata means Krishna is referring to Arjuna, and he is telling that we have to stand and fight. So, yoga sanyasta karmanam. So, we have to utilize our energy. We have to utilize our energy for Krishna. because we all have energy within us, and since we are part and parcel of Krishna, we have to use this energy that we have within us in the service of Lord. We do not have to change our position. Like Arjuna did not change his position. He simply followed the orders being given by Krishna. Likewise, we might be given some instructions by the Lord. Bhagavad Gita is the best book through which we can understand that there are so many instructions that Krishna has already given us. We simply need to abide by those instructions in our life. And then everything gets revealed with the passage of time. So knowledge is very important. In India, we have seen a lot of people have faith in God. That's very good thing, and it's really at times makes me quite fascinated that people just have faith naturally, in spite of the fact that they don't really try to get to know things properly. They don't really put their mind or their intelligence in understanding this subject matter, but still they continue with this knowledge. They still believe something exists and they keep on going. But that's not the end of everything, and that's where Krishna is stressing on the need of gaining knowledge also. If we want to practice devotion, we have to have knowledge. Otherwise, with the passage of time, society will not let us practice this knowledge, because you will have a lot of doubts. But if your base of knowledge is strong, then no one can touch you. Even if you may little slacken in application of that knowledge, no problem. But if you have a foundation of knowledge, you know that how to live your life in line with what the expectations of God are. Application may follow, application may not be there immediately, but the foremost requirement is, do we have that foundation of knowledge or not? That is the most important thing. That is why he's telling that whatever doubts you have, Arjuna, clear them up with this weapon of knowledge and stand and fight. Same Krishna wants from us, that we have to stand and fight. Mam anusmarna yuddhacha. We have to think of Krishna and then we have to fight. We always have to think of Krishna and then we have to fight. That is the best way to live life. So fighting here doesn't mean that we have to literally fight. For us, the fighting means to fight against Maya. For us, the fighting means to perform our prescribed duties, but in parallel, keep on remembering Krishna by following the principles of devotional service. Don't just be dependent on one thing, that okay, fine, we'll just perform our prescribed duties, then everything will fall in place with time. If you want to perform your prescribed duties in line with Krishna's expectations, then you have to also follow these principles of devotional service, beginning with hearing and chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Thank you very much. So today we have covered chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita. That means we have concluded chapter 4, and we are continuing our weekend wisdom series. We will be having next session on hopefully next Sunday. It looks difficult on next Sunday because I think there is Diwali or Govardhan Puja, but we'll do something. We'll have some or other session. Other than that, we are finished with chapter 4. We'll begin chapter 5. I thank everyone for joining today's session. I'll just take one question that have come up. So, does faith in Krishna mean to love Krishna? What is the difference between two? Very good question and very interesting question. So, in fact, Bhakti Vinod Thakur has described the 9 steps to devotional service. The faith is the first step, and love is the last step. And in between, there are 7 steps more. It starts with Adosh Shraddha, then Sadhu Sangha. Because we have faith, because of our faith, we approach to some higher authority, and we seek association of sadhus, and through that association we try to understand the subject matter of God. So ado shraddha sadhu sang. Then third is bhajan kriya. Then we start, when we understand, okay, fine, this chanting will purify our heart. Then we'll be able to invite Lord in our heart. Then we start applying that bhajan kriya, anartha nivrati. Our heart will start getting clean. Then the next is Nisra will become convinced. So faith, when becomes mature, then it turns into conviction. So Nishta, Ruchi, Bhava, Asakti, and then finally Prema. So Prema is the last step. So you can see faith is the beginning and Prema is a conclusion. So we have to go step by step. If you are talking about, let's say, ladder, so faith is the first ladder, and if you have to go to the top floor, then love is a last ladder, last part of the ladder. So we have to ultimately reach to the top. But to reach to the top, we have to work hard between these 7 steps. We have to seek regular guidance of devotees through which we can understand, yes, okay, this needs to be done to understand Krishna, this needs to be done to realize Krishna in our life. Yes, Krishna exists, and we can live 24 hours of our day by thinking about Krishna, by meditating upon Krishna, by serving Krishna, by understanding what Krishna expects from us, by offering our obeisances to Krishna. So all these different activities we can do. So I hope this clarifies, I believe, the question that has been asked. So does faith in Krishna mean to love Krishna? So it is the first step. Yes, faith in Krishna means ultimately to love Krishna. What is the difference between two? As I explained, that there are 9 steps beginning from faith, reaching up to the stage of love. And we all have to love Krishna ultimately, but we all are on that path. Eventually we'll be reaching to that destination of loving Krishna. Right now we are just kind of going one by one. All right. So with this, thank you very much. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, all the devotees, for listening with the patience. And I look forward to speak again soon. And I look forward to do more and more activities, as I'm really willing to do, but somehow the time is not permitting me. But I want to do a lot of things, and with the blessings and support of the devotees, I hope with the passage of time things will manifest into reality. Thank you very much. I wish all of you a very happy Kartik. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. I wish all of you a very happy Deepavali from this Rise and Shine team. On behalf of Rise and Shine, Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.